Welcome to Floyd E. Kellam High School. Kellam is one of 11 comprehensive high schools in Virginia Beach Public Schools. Both the district and our school are recognized as high performing with an on-time graduation rate that exceeds 94% and full accreditation. Yet we recognize that the high school experience must evolve in order for students to be prepared for the future world of higher education, career, and civic engagement. Effective in the 2021-22 school year, high school accreditation ratings in Virginia now include the New College Career and Civic Readiness Index as an indicator of school quality. The index measures the extent to which students successfully complete advanced coursework, career and technical education coursework, and credentialing, and also work or service-based learning. These four areas represent the work we do to prepare students to be life ready. A Virginia Life Ready graduate engages in learning related to content knowledge, workplace skills, career exploration, and community engagement and civic responsibility. Kellam High School, through our Division Strategic Plan, is committed to ensuring that all students not only graduate on time, but also can demonstrate readiness for college and career. This represents a move to define what it means to be future ready and how to communicate that to students and stakeholders. Our work is guided by questions such as, what does it mean to be future ready? What experiences should all high school students have to prepare for the future? What evidence will demonstrate readiness most effectively? And what practices must evolve to support future ready students? Therefore, Kellam High School is redefining the high school experience by advancing ownership of learning through a portfolio curation process, opportunities to share and reflect on learning widely with a variety of audiences, engagement in authentic community-based work, and scaling personalized learning through signature experiences or capstone projects. We are also looking at how to transform our grading practices so they reflect what we intend to measure. This work is focused on developing a shared philosophy and common guidelines with regards to homework, late work, assigning zeros, reassessment, makeup work, and extra credit. As we engage and grow in this concurrent work, we began to question the effectiveness of the current high school transcript, which yielded a new question: how might we transform the transcript to reflect learning and future readiness? Consequently, the team at Floyd E. Kellam High School set out to prototype a new transcript for students that more accurately represents student skills and abilities and reflects the graduate profile that guides the work of our district and school. Our journey this year began with conducting empathy interviews across stakeholder groups. Our team identified stakeholder groups and developed introductory questions that would yield input on the effectiveness and limitations of the current transcript as it connects to future-ready graduates. Our next step was to share the empathy interview data with students and teachers. These two groups then began a prototype process to envision what a future-ready transcript might look like. To learn more about our process, the input gathered, and the initial prototypes, we have included links to several videos where you can hear from our teachers who went through this process with students. These processes included empathy interviews with students, input from our lead teachers, input from employers, student prototyping, and staff-developed prototypes. Here are two videos shared by some of our staff who went through prototyping with teachers and students.
Kellam's lead teachers came up with 4 different prototypes for what could be used to supplement a student's transcript. This first example includes some badges or certifications that would recognize experiences students have outside of the classroom. And then at the end of their junior year, students would have a sort of exit interview or defensive learning in which they would evaluate themselves on where they fall on a scale for these different attributes of our Virginia Beach profile of a graduate. There would also be a place where students could add their own supplemental material, such as a personal statement or samples of their work. The second prototype includes a four-part component where the first is something from the teachers where they could rate the students on some of these soft skills like ability to work with others and motivation to succeed. The student would also be able to elaborate on some of their experiences that aren't recognized within grades, kind of like a resume, but with a chance for further explanation. Their parents would also be able to offer up some information that maybe the student hasn't mentioned, or maybe the student didn't want to disclose about their educational experience. The counselor would also be able to highlight some key information from teachers' letters of recommendations or things from the student's 4 years throughout high school. The third example is a chance for the students to self-reflect, and it includes some free response questions about what they consider their greatest strength or some positive or negative experiences that have impacted and shaped who they are or different passions that they have. And then there's this self-evaluation tool where the students, again, are ranking where they believe they fall on some of these soft skills with an opportunity to link in some portfolio evidence to help back up what they're saying and some of those experiences that they've had. The fourth example is a form that teachers would fill out for different students. Again, rating them on some of these soft skills that are not reflected in their grades. Things like integrity, organization, work ethic, empathy, collaboration, resilience, risk-taking, or attention to detail. And so some of those would be overarching skills that any teacher could comment on. And then each department would also maybe identify some specific skills. The benefits of this are that teachers would also be able to elaborate on a student and provide some anecdotal evidence. This could track and be able to speak to a student's growth from freshman year to senior year within a particular department or within a particular skill set. Some of the downsides that the teachers of this prototype recognized are how much time this could take if every teacher were to respond to every student. But then again, there are also some benefits if you could do this even multiple times a year to see the students' growth within a single year as well as over the course of their 4 years. So again, maybe some things to work out in these prototypes, but definitely a more holistic approach to the student as opposed to just their transcript.
After conducting our empathy interviews, the information was shared with two stakeholder groups, the lead teachers as well as the Principal Student Advisory Council. The information shared with these groups led to the beginning of prototype development. The student design prototype process evolved over time. We began with different groups of students working on a prototype. When they shared their ideas with one another, what they landed on was they thought that there should be a process throughout high school, not just one final product. And they identified that process to grow over time to the senior year. Beginning in freshman year, where there was a greater focus on individual strengths and learning more about themselves and valuing themselves and others for more than grades. Sophomore year, they believe that we should begin to have a hyperdoc resume that identifies the skills that you're gaining, particularly aligned to our graduate profile, and that process begin in 10th grade. Then moving into the junior year to design a portfolio using Google Sites. A template was created by the students, but they felt very passionately that there should be personalization permitted. And then finally, where they landed was senior year. They would like to see our school division develop some sort of student version of LinkedIn, one that would be interactive with outside communities, whether it be other students or employers. Included in that student version of LinkedIn, which you can see on the screen, would be verified competencies or badges that were earned as part of their high school academic career. Their portfolio would be linked and included within it, as well as their resume. There would be a community post board to interact with professionals, possibly in their field, through job shadowing or internship experiences. There would be photo galleries and video links that identified who they were, what they were passionate about, what they were interested in beyond the classroom walls.
As we move forward next year, we have outlined 2 key steps. We are beginning a journey to create credentials aligned to deeper learning, our capstone projects, and the district graduate profile. We also will partner with outside organizations to add currency to these credentials. Our team now stands ready to answer any questions you may have about our journey.